Welcome, and today's dish is Christmas soufflé. It's really good. This has been a tradition in my family for over 30 years. My dad brought the recipe home and said, this is a great idea. We can make it while we're opening our presents, and it cuts down on the work I've got to do in the morning. So here we go. Our basic ingredients are bread, butter, cheese slices, bacon, onions, and mushrooms. You can flip that around to other stuff if you want. And then we need a milk mixture, milk, eggs, and dry mustard powder. So let's start. The first thing we're going to do is take the bacon, pound of bacon, chop it up into small pieces, throw it in the frying pan, cook it down. Years ago, I did it without cooking it, and I found the bacon just did not cook properly. So this way, it's got a head start. Next, we need an onion. Medium onion is more than enough for what you're going to make. If you want to put more in, go ahead. I wouldn't suggest it, but go for it. Mushrooms. A can or two of mushrooms goes great with this. Now, you want to take them out of the can, drain all the water. Go back to our bacon. Looks a lot better now. We'll take it off the stove, put it in a bowl. That's ready for our souffle. So here we go. I've got a pan to make the souffle in. We're going to grease the bottom of the pan. I like this trick. I learned this some time ago. You take a sandwich bag, use that to spread around your butter or margarine. Makes a lot less mess, and cleanup's easy. So we've got our pan greased. Let's put it aside and on to the next thing, bread. Now the original recipe, which someday I'll do, called for bread buttered on both sides, the crust cut off. Well, I don't do that. So here it is. I learned butter one side. Of course, the butter, no matter how long I left it out, it just wouldn't soften up. This butter's been out for 3 hours. I don't know why it's so brick hard. But anyway, we're going to butter one side. Each of the layers is going to take 5 to 6 pieces of bread. So we're going to butter enough to get us through a couple layers and then go back and do some more. It's just a lot easier when you've got everything ready. That's just a matter of assembling it all. And since I'm having so much fun with the butter, I figure I'll get as many slices of bread done ahead of time. Saves me having to fool around with it. So we got a bunch of bread done. We're going to set that aside, bring our pan back, and now it's time to build. The first layer I put right side up, butter facing up. The other two I'll do it butter down. It doesn't really matter. It's just I find it's not quite as messy if you got the butter facing down. The next step is cheese slices. 6 will do, unless you want to get the little gap in the middle. If you really feel you need to do that, just grab an extra slice, split it up a bit, and that'll work out. I'm not really too worried about it. It all gets nice and melty anyway. Onto the cheese goes our mushrooms that we drain. Then onions, however many you want. That's probably about as much as you would want. I've done it with a lot more and it's way too oniony, so you don't want to do that. And the last one's bacon. Spread that around. You could also put ham, sausage, peppers. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways to put this together. And now the controversial layer 2. When I first moved out of the house, I tried making this from memory because nobody actually had the recipe handy. So I guessed, and I thought there was 2 layers to it. Turns out there was only 2 layers of bread. But I've been doing it that way ever since. Some of my family laugh at me every year for doing it, but that's just the way I've made it. And I know now that it's 1 layer too much, but I like it this way. So you do the same thing the second layer as you do the first. And then of course the top layer, your bread's face down. You want to kind of close up any of the holes you've got. You just play around with that last piece of bread and kind of try and get everything to fit in there. Now it's time for the milk mixture, and this is going to go on the souffle, and that helps puffy it up. So into a pitcher, we're going to crack 6 eggs. You know, when you're done with the eggs, you might want to mix them first. That way you break up all the yolks. It's optional, you don't have to. And of course, 1 to 2 tablespoons of dry mustard powder. You want to put more in if you really like it. It's pretty good. 1 quart or 1 liter of milk. Now we're going to give this a good stir. It's okay if the mustard powder gets a little lumpy. I think from the very first time we ever had this, there was lumpy mustard powder. That's just the way it mixes out. Now you got to carefully put this milk mixture. You want to make sure all the bread gets completely covered and saturated with the milk and eggs. And it will be really wet, and that's fine. That's what you're looking for. You want it really, really soggy. So try to cover it as evenly as possible from one end to the other without spilling too much. You might even see the milk come up close to the top. That's okay. It's all going to soak into the bread. There you go. That's 1 quart of milk in that. So now we're going to cover it up with some tin foil, and into the fridge it goes. Overnight is what the recipe calls for, but I think 2 or 3 hours, if you let it sit, it may accomplish the same thing. So here we are. It's sat in the fridge. Now it's time to put our final ingredient on, which is a can of cream mushroom soup. We crack it open, out it comes, and you want to spread it as evenly as possible on the top of your souffle. Now you're going to want to cover it. About halfway through, take the tin foil back off. It should cook for 40 to 50 minutes, an hour. Here it is at 40 minutes, and here it is at 50. Can you see how poofy it is? You know it's ready to come out. And there you have it, my family's souffle. I hope you give this a try. Oh, and Merry Christmas. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll give it a try. If you do, leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Ring the bell. That'll tell you the next time I upload a video. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.